Welcome to the Point of Truth podcast, hosted by Jay.
Oh, tell me the truth, your truth, tell me the truth, I wanna know the truth, so tell me the truth.
Hello, you beautiful souls. Welcome to the Pursuit of Truth podcast. My name is Jay, and I am your host. Today is the launch of the Marco Arto podcast. And Marco Arto is part of the ENLYTND Music Group, which we had their interview last week. And so I had an opportunity to sit down with Marco, who is a rising independent Latin artist who's from Manassas, Virginia, who transplanted to the LA area to pursue his musical aspirations. And so he started his career in 2022 officially. But as a child, he used music as an outlet to really just become free. And this is his concept of freedom, is to be able to just freely write music and sing from the heart. He's truly an amazing young man, and I thoroughly enjoyed sitting down with him and just, I think retrospectively, I'm just kind of, I have to say I'm in awe because I had the opportunity to travel, the last 4 years, and I've met a lot of young people who are conscious about what's going on, and then you have the mainstream media that makes it seem, gives this illusion that we're doomed as a society because our the younger generations and all of this. And I don't believe the hype at all. I've met some very conscious young people, and I look back and I'm like, they said that about us. And it's this programming, right, that we, the older generations, we think we're more wiser. And there's a little truth to that. We become wiser as we, age. But, he reminds me of someone. And I see a lot of myself in that, where it's, I was in my 20s and I didn't give a care in the world. And, I just did my thing and had a good time and let people misunderstand me, and just, I lived, right? And then life just kind of gets in the way and you start to conform to certain things, and then you find ways to escape because you're not happy, and it's just this cycle, right, that happens to some people. And so, Marco, I know you're going to listen to this. Keep going. And don't let anyone stop you. Keep going. Keep speaking your truth. Be pro-humanity. And what you put out into the universe, it's going to come back to you. What you put out every day and wake up in a state of gratefulness, you will get back. That's how it is. Energy is everything. And this system has done a great job at disconnecting folks from that concept that we are, we're energetic, charged beings, spiritual beings walking the face of the earth. And we're meant to be here to be loving and patient and kind and understanding the things that make humanity amazing, right? And we've gotten off track to no fault of our own, because this is a system that's run and has been run for a very long time by greed. So, Marco, keep going, honey. Amazing, amazing talent you are. So, just a little, I want to talk to you about my week here real quick before I get into this interview, but because it's all, this podcast is really just to bring people to a state of mindfulness, right? to disengage from the crazy chaos that goes on in this world and to really just dial in to the Spirit of God and be mindful. And I understand that this podcast may not be for everybody, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. And if there's anything that I talk about that you may not understand, please feel free to reach out and I can clear anything up. I don't want anybody to be confused about things. We're all on a different, path, I guess you could say. And we all have different levels that we're, moving along. And it's a tough thing when we're stepping out of this system. If you're aware of what I'm talking about, like this system that we're living in, that we're realizing has just been not 100% accurate. And so that's programmed us to be in competition with each other, and that's programmed us that we have to keep up with the Joneses and all of this. And this is untrue. We must follow what our heart is. And that happens when we are willing to look at ourselves and heal from the things that we've gone through in our life. However old you are, you could do this anytime. Doesn't matter. My age ain't nothing but a number. And there's no expiration on like aligning with the Spirit of God and healing your inner self, your inner child, that kid that may have come from lack, or that kid that was abused, or that kid that was bullied. So I had an opportunity to go to Houston this week for work. And while I was there, the first day I was working with a coworker and helping him at his site. I'm in clinical research. And it was pretty interesting. Like, it just popped in my head that, oh yeah, we lived here like 40 years ago. I'm telling my age. I was there when I was about 10 or 11, I believe it was. And I was telling him, hey, we lived east of here. And then I got back to the hotel and I was sitting there and I was having a conversation. And then I was texting back and forth with a few people. And it just came to me, get in the car and go. And evidently there was things I needed to process. And it was, growing up as a kid, there were times that we were in states of lack because my father had gotten laid off. But let me tell you, my dad was a warrior and he was a survivor, and he did everything and anything to keep a roof over our heads. And it was in that moment, I'm driving through this small town at Holiday Zeta, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, wow. The Spirit and me listening to the Spirit of God allowed me to go back and retrace my steps as an adult, and looking at this 10, 11-year-old child whose father lost his job, and we had to move out of the home that we were in, and we were in a state of lack because of it, and the judgment that came from that. And I just came to the realization that the enemy truly does use people to, unleash psychological warfare on. How we judge, right? We're in this earthly realm, and we have the teachings of Jesus Christ that teach us to not be in a state of judgment and to have compassion and understanding for our fellow mankind. And I think that's really what's missing, is compassion. The compassion is the piece that really needs to be cultivated, I believe, in our society. At least I can only speak in the American society. Compassion really needs to be cultivated. I would really like for that to happen, because it leads to judging others. And while we are judging others, we're condemning ourselves, because it's all about energy. What goes around comes around. These cliches that we've all heard in our lives, it's true. We're energetic beings, right? What we put out, we get back. When we put out love, we get it back, right? And we don't even, if we come from a place of genuine authenticity, what we put out into the universe, we automatically get back. So we don't have to sit and be like, oh, I put that out and it didn't come back, right? Like, or we go into it with an intention of, okay, I'm going to do this because I want it to come back to me. That's not how it works. It's what we put out genuinely and truly, when we're in alignment with the spirit, is what we get back. Things can be abundant, right? We can have money. We can have, good things happen to us. We like say we go through, to get a coffee. I like Black Rock here in the Portland area. So say I roll through Black Rock and the person in front of me pays for my coffee. That's abundance, right? That's putting good things out there. And who knows? One day, you never know, it could happen to you. It's just not expecting it, right? And that's what's awesome about life, is things that happen unexpectedly. And you meet people and you have amazing conversations, and it's unexpected. So it's a beautiful thing, folks. So yeah. So I had that opportunity to go and do the ugly crying and just really understand that the majority of my father's life, he was in survival mode, trying to maintain for his kids. And that's what it's all about, folks. So we just have to understand that people are just trying to do their best. Most people are trying to do their best. And so with this judgment concept that I'm going with here is, we have to understand that everyone has their levels of wisdom, right? That they've sought out the information, they've found the information, they've spiritually discerned from the information, and they deem what they've looked at as, okay, this is truth worthy, right? And my truth may not land well with someone who doesn't believe what I think of or what I believe in. And that's fine, because that's what's happening when we're going through this psychological warfare and the information that's out there. But I believe God is sharing a lot and revealing a lot, and a lot of people are missing this because they're putting too much stock into what they're seeing on the mainstream media. The very same people that have lied the last 4 years. I mean, it's being proven that they've lied, but we continue to put our trust in this media that is owned by globalists, and they're supposed to be telling us what's going on, when we have eyes to see and ears to hear, and we can go about our day and we can observe and we can see where people are, right? And make our own discernment, or we can read and make our own discernment and understand the whole concept of this psychological warfare. And it is a web of chaos, literally. And I just encourage the listeners to try to do what you can in your local area. We can only do what we can do in our general vicinity, in our own backyard. Because trust me, it's all been infiltrated, and we have plenty to do in our own backyard. And I understand that there's a lot of chaos in the world, and there's a lot of evil things happening in the world, and there's a lot of evil things happening to children in the world. I get that. But at the end of the day, it's what can I do? And what I can do, number one, is start with myself and work on myself and heal myself, because a healed person can put positive energy out into the universe and can inspire others to do the same. And it's what we want, right? If we want to see change, we have to be the change. So we have to be willing to step in, be brave, be bold, and to understand and challenge our belief systems. So I just encourage everyone to do that. Just, step in, have faith, and, try not to get caught up in the chaos of the world, because at the end of the day, it's all going to work out, I believe. So, that's just my perspective. Again, I'm just speaking from my perspective. I don't expect anyone to, believe what I'm saying, or you have to believe what I'm saying. This is just my perspective. It's just a podcast with a perspective of what I believe is going on. And I think in some future podcasts, I'll probably get into the whole concept of psychological operations and the whole concept of that. And, just to provide a little bit of commentary behind that and a little bit of wisdom that I've gained in my observations of what's going on. So with that, let's get this party started. And we're going to start this podcast with Marco Arto. I hope that you enjoy. It was truly a pleasure sitting down with this young man. And check his music out. It's on all major music platforms. And without further ado,
welcome to the Point of Truth podcast, hosted by Jay.
Oh, tell me the truth, your truth. Tell me the truth. I wanna know the truth. So tell me the truth.
hello, everybody. Welcome to the Point of Truth. And my guest today is Marco Arto.
Woo! What up, what up, what up?
Hey, you.
What's up?
So I'm so glad you're sitting down with me. You and I can just, chat. And I want to know more about the East Coast. You grew up outside of D.C.
Yeah.
And you moved here. So I want to know about that. Like, who are you? What are you all about? You got a great vibe, and I'm loving it. Yeah. No,
you.
you're awesome. You're awesome. So just tell me a little bit about yourself. Let the listeners know, like, your journey, like even your spiritual journey. If you feel comfortable sharing that, that would be great, because I'm all about that.
Me too.
Sharing our journeys, and how we, how we've had times of suffering and what we've learned from that, and how we've applied that to our future in our spiritual journey.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, who am I? Who is Marco Arto?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I grew up in Virginia in a very conservative home in Manassas,
Oh, yeah.
which there was always like a lot of restrictions, right? So I'm Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that knows a Latino will tell you that those families are a little bit harsher than most when it comes to discipline anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
Why do you think that is?
I think it's like a reputation thing maybe. Like, what are the elders thinking?
Oh, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
correct your kid.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's kind of wild because I feel like that played a big part into my creative process to even wanting to become an artist. Because I feel like growing up, I would sing, but I never thought that I would do it professionally or like out here like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of grew up always on the creative side. I would like draw, but then I would start to sing. What I realized happened was when I would sing, I would like release the tension that I was feeling. You know what I mean? It was like an outlet that completely transcended further than even I would know. Like, seriously.
Mhm.
Now, even today, like, that's still, like, it's shocking to think that, like, wow. Like, Boog always says, music is like therapy,
Oh, big time.
you know?
Yeah.
And for me, that's what I found it was.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I would just kind of, like, dabble. And I would, I've always wanted to help people. Always. Because I know how it feels like to not be, you know, treated fairly, like how you should be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always knew that I wanted to help because I would never want to have anyone else feel any sadness.
Right.
Because, you know, when you feel it and you experience it, it's not cool. So that I wanted to become a psychologist. I went to college to study
Interesting.
psychology. Yeah. Because I just really wanted to, like, help get into people's heads and help them find their way back to where they needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried it. I didn't like it because I felt so restricted. And it sucked. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally get what you're saying because
Yeah.
that's my educational path, right? I started in nursing, and I lost my mother in '99, so I ended up I had, you know, like associates, and then I was working on my bachelor's after I got out of the Air Force. And
that's
I
awesome.
lost my mom to breast cancer, and so I would have had to wait an entire year to get back in the nursing program. So I'm like, I'm just going to do psychology, and then I worked on my master's in clinical psychology, and I'm like, you know, they focus so much on labeling and on the problem and not a solution, right? And it was not until I started to have this spiritual awakening that I'm going through. I lost my father in 2018, and then I realized, wow. You know what? This is all about my journey, right? And how the Spirit of God puts people in your path. And then I started studying with the Numa Institute outside of Shasta, Mount Shasta, and that's transpersonal psychology. So it gets into the whole spiritual and doing breath work and all of this. And I wanted, when I began this spiritual journey, I was like, you know what? I want to transcend all of this programming. I want to challenge my beliefs and all of that, right? And I'm telling you, it's work. It is work. It's work. And
Yes.
sometimes and I say it's like you have to lose your mind in order to find your
Yes.
soul.
Absolutely.
Right?
God, I feel that
It is
inside my heart.
It's
right
amazing.
Now.
It is an amazing. So you just like, when you said that, I was like, I totally get where you're coming
Yeah.
from, because it's like, why am I going to focus on labeling people? Because here's a news flash. I mean, we were, you know, chatting about like frequencies and things like that. That's healed me. I've started to listen about 4 years ago to Tesla healing hertz frequencies, and that really just took me to another level, you know. And you start to there's times that I was like, I'm losing my mind, but like I said, you sometimes have to lose your mind in order to find your soul. And you get on this path, and it's like you just follow the Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you because, like I told you, it's been like, it's been kind of difficult, the come up.
Mm-hmm.
But, everybody always enters hurdles.
Absolutely.
But I feel like I've never had to fight for something that I love so much, and then coming to the conclusion that I have to change my mindset or my beliefs in order to achieve these things.
Mm-hmm.
And before, I was just kind of like on autopilot, but like when I really realized, like, oh my gosh, I believe in this, and this is my calling.
Absolutely.
And if I truly love it, I need to apply myself. Freaking Boog is always telling me, apply yourself, Marco. He loves me, I know it. Hey.
Hey, I often say that there are earthly angels that kind of come in our path and encourage us and inspire us. One of my earthly angels is sitting right over here.
Oh my God, mine over here. Look at him.
Inspiring me to get back on the mic. And I'm like, and I'm having to break through these, self-limiting beliefs of like, oh, my age, right? And it's like, you know what? Age ain't nothing but a number.
I know that's right. Look at
and
you.
I'm still alive. So I got stuff to do, and I got, I got
awesome.
stories to share. So yeah, I know I totally feel where you're coming from. So, talk about the journey to LA. Like, what sparked that?
Oof.
And how did your parents handle that when
Oh
you're
my
like, "Hey, I'm moving to LA. Hey, by the way, mom and dad, I'm moving to LA." What? Like, I'm sure it was like,
They
are
were
you doing?
shook. They were like, you can make it over here. There's New York. And I'm like, but mom.
Yeah.
So the reason that happened, I came to Cali was because at the time I was working at Costco.
Mm-hmm.
I followed this other artist that made this music conference that was basically there was gonna be a lot of like talent agents, producers, booking agents, and all this other music stuff at this conference. And I already knew the artist because I've been following her for a sec. And I decided to go through with it. I received this email
Oh wow.
that said that event was gonna happen from her because I followed her email.
Mm-hmm.
And so I clicked it. It was $5,000 to attend, and I didn't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
And like, I quit Costco just to pull out my 401k, like the little bit that I had, because I believed in this dream.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Costco had its benefits. It was a good job.
Absolutely.
It was a good job, like for at the time. And I went to the conference. I met incredible human beings, really talented individuals, and I came across this other individual. For NDA purposes, I can't name. But they decided to recruit me and like go hang out with them and like work on stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But I had to go to Cali.
Right.
And live out there. And so I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I already quit my job. Like, I was working with her because my mom owns a cleaning company. So I would go and help her clean. And I was like, it's crazy because at the time I would always like have to clean, and it's like I'm really gonna be somewhere else. Like I'm over here cleaning somebody's house, beautiful houses.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I have to go.
Yeah.
And so
Your soul was calling you.
yeah, like I had to leave. Like I don't know what it was. I just had to go over there. That's where my calling was.
Yeah.
And I told my parents. My parents were totally like, they tried it, but I was like, listen,
They tried it.
They
I
tried
love
it.
right?
but
Don't they always though? They do. I mean,
They
my
love
parents
me.
tried it all
They
the
love me.
time.
yeah,
Yeah, they just want to protect you. They don't want to. They
Absolutely.
don't want to. They want to protect you from anything. I realize that now too. When that's part of the whole growing process, right? Like you
Absolutely.
have to learn to forgive things that happened, like
Right.
when you were a child. Like,
yes.
why was it this way? And okay, I know that was maybe the delivery wasn't where it needed to be with my
Yeah.
dad, but I know his heart was just that he wanted to protect me.
Of course.
So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and it's really like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
That must have been like tough,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
having to like sit there, because I thought about that too ever since I came to California. And now I'm just kind of like, I look back and I fully understand everything for what it is,
Mhm.
kind of. And I'm just seeing how my parents, like you said, they may have gone about it in a way that could have been better, but then I think this is how they grew up.
That's how, exactly. They only know what they know, right?
Exactly,
So, I think when we put expectations on people to, oh, they should have did this, but you only know what you know, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where it's like, okay, there needs to be some forgiveness,
Absolutely.
and this is a process of awakening our soul and involving our soul is when we realize that and we're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
Everybody's on their journey, and you know what? We're just trying to figure it out, this thing called life, and we're all just, it's a journey, right?
For real.
It is. And, and at the same time, it's like we got to not take things so serious, right?
Oh, yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
I think when we're so serious about things, we create our own suffering.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Because you know, like talking about the parents thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a lot of things about myself that even like the Real Boog would bring up to me.
Yeah.
And he would tell me like, Marco, you were just so sheltered. And I was like, you're right. I was. There was a lot of things that I didn't know. Like one thing I knew for sure was that I never wanted to hurt anyone. I've always wanted to help, like I said before.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, that I found music, and I was like, okay, if I can sing a song and talk about my own pain,
right,
and put that pain in that song so you can feel it,
right,
then maybe it'll do something to you inside.
Right.
Maybe you'll feel it, and that emotion, you know, because nobody likes to sit with their emotions. But if you're listening to a song, you're going to be forced to unintentionally, subconsciously.
Well, yeah, because it hits you.
Right. And
I mean, there's been times I'm like sitting in the car and I'm listening to this song, and okay, it happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was listening to this song, and it was about, she was basically talking about the story about her father. Well, you know, I lost my father 6 years ago, and I was just like, just like bawling, like ugly crying in the car, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, whatever.
Right.
You know, but I think that at that moment, you know, there was healing. So, anytime you have that kind of reaction, there's healing. So I'm all good with that. So it's good.
Well,
it's really good.
I'm really happy to hear that.
So
happy to hear
I
that.
know, right? So a song. So give me one song that you want to share with the listeners, and we're going to play this song.
Oh, one song.
One song.
Can it be in the album? Oh, okay. I got you.
You got me? All right, let's do this.
All right. So this song is called Apetito. And I wrote it. It translates to appetite.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it because I wanted the listener to feel empowered and like strong and like desired. Like everything about them was just incredible. They're bright. They glow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I put it into that song, and I created Apetito to do just that. But it's funny because it sounds very arrogant, because it's like, I'll translate for y'all. The beginning, it's like, however you want it, I'll give it to you. But I also understand why you're like obsessed. Like, I get it. I'm pretty great, you know? But it's true.
But it is, though. It's this. I mean, well, I don't think that's arrogant. I think that there's a confidence, right? That
exactly
when you align with the Spirit, and I'm sitting here and I know that you're aligned with the Spirit of God. You're doing what your purpose is.
Yeah.
But I think you're seeing the bigger picture, which then that's really not about the ego, because you're really driving to really inspire. So
absolutely.
Right? So it's okay to come from a place of confidence,
exactly.
because we
that's
have
what
to
I
have.
wanted to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there is a healthy part of that ego.
Absolutely.
That needs to be engaged when we're, so absolutely. No, I don't find that arrogant at all.
Yeah. That's exactly, I'm so glad you picked that up.
Yeah.
That's really what I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people don't know how to love themselves, or really don't see they don't hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm proud of you. You did so good today. But if you like hear a song that is telling you, oh, I am this divine creature. I am a blessing to this world.
Yes.
You know, it goes back to like, you know, when a plane is going down, it says to put on your mask first.
Right.
You know?
And why is that?
Because you got to make sure you're good.
Absolutely.
You know? How are you going to be able to help others?
Right. If you don't help yourself.
Exactly. And
Right.
so that's really what I wanted to portray in that song.
All right. So let's play that.
Let's do it.
Como tú quieras, cuando tú quieras, yo te lo doy. Lo necesitas, no soy egoísta, sabes quién soy, como yo pienso. No me sorprendo por tu obsesión que tienes conmigo, por mi amor. No te voy a negar tu apetito. Yo entiendo por qué quieres un pedacito. Y si tú quieres más, pa' tenerme ahí contigo. Ven, pórtate bien pa' probar todo de mi cuerpo. Cuando me acerco, no puedes controlar. noche voy a darte. Ey, como un adicto, yo me alejo, me sigues detrás. Cómo se mueve, mi cuerpo te hace siempre regresar. Como una droga, tú me deseas, no puedes superar. Hasta me dices que quieres más, que no es suficiente pero nunca será. Como algo del cielo, como algo supernatural. En mi presencia sientes tu mundo mejorar. El sabor de mis labios no te deja descansar. No paras de imaginar cosas que van a pasar. Tu apetito, yo entiendo por qué quieres un pedacito. Y si tú quieres más, pa' tenerme ahí contigo.
What an amazing song.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do. But I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. There is a thing called divine energy, right? This
Yep.
divine energy that's there, right? And this confidence that the Spirit of God gives you, right?
Yeah.
And it's not coming from the ego, right? It's coming from this place that's like
Love.
of creation and love and kindness and understanding. That sounds like somebody. Who is that? Somebody we know? Right? So, no, it's good. It's good. It really is. So so let's talk about this journey and where you want it to go.
I dream about this every day. Think about it all the time.
Sounds like you might be in the process of manifestation. Hold on.
I think you're right.
I'm loving it. No, because it's true. We believe, and we can't let these self-limiting beliefs stop us, right?
Absolutely
From really just
not.
pursuing what it is, right? And that's really what it is really being brave enough to step into your sovereignty. Sovereignty is given to you by God, not by man. And really just stepping in and creating from a place of love.
Absolutely.
And healing.
Yes.
And promoting that and inspiring others to do the
Yes.
same. Can you imagine? I sit back. I've always been a dreamer, and I think, I believe that there's a world that can be that, right?
Yeah.
And it starts with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I always say, I cannot change the world.
No.
I cannot change the world. What I can do is change my world. I can do what I can to help keep my side of the street clean, inspire.
Yeah.
That's what I can do.
Yeah.
And my world, you know?
Absolutely. And I feel with you sharing your story here on The Point of Truth, like people are going to vibe with this, and they're going to be like, wow.
I hope so. That's the goal.
I mean, you're an old soul. Definitely an old soul. You are, and you're on your way. But
Thank you.
you're probably what, in your 20s?
I'm 27.
Okay, so young, and you're getting it, right? You're like getting it. It's like
For sure.
amazing.
I'm
So,
trying to.
It's obvious to me that you've done a lot of work, and that's amazing. That's an amazing
Thank you.
accomplishment. So,
Thank you so much.
is there anything else you want to share with the listeners before we wrap this up?
Yes. There is an album that I poured a lot of my love and hard work in called Incendio that I created with my incredible team. Shout out to the Real Boog, Kokee Vega, TSO, ILLusion. My brother, I see you. And check it out. Comes out Friday, May 3rd. And thank you guys so much for having me. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your time. I
Thank
really
you,
appreciate
beloved.
you.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate your time. And I feel inspired just by having this conversation with you.
That's
So
awesome.
yep.
Thank you.
So God bless you in your journey. And I'm back here and I'm cheering you on. I
Thank
want you to know that.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So thank you so much, Marco, for joining us. So everyone, go to the music platforms, search for Marco Arto, and follow this young man. What an amazing soul. We wish you nothing but the best. We wish you nothing but success. I see a bright and shiny future for you, my love. So Thank you so much for sitting down with me. And we're going to end this podcast with Marco's song Apetito. I hope that you enjoy, and make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to the Pursuit of Truth podcast with Jay. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.
No te voy a negar tu apetito. Yo entiendo por qué quieres un pedacito. Y si tú quieres más, pa' tenerme ahí contigo. Ven, pórtate bien pa' probar todo de mi cuerpo. Cuando me acerco no puedes controlarte. Sientes todo el universo al manejarte. Baby, yo no quiero dejarte sin hambre. Tienes suerte, esta noche voy a darte. Ey.
Unveiling the layers of lies, breaking free from the disguise. In the depths where it lies, I can see it in your eyes. You once believed the lies, but now there's no disguise.